And we are back. We are somehow back onto this stream that we are absolutely late because a lot have happened during those 3 laps of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix that we have missed the entire qualifying session in the first opening laps, but we are now back. Eversnax is leading, but the leaders of the race have been multiple at this point because we had a leader from the start that was, I believe, Gamab. He then lost the lead after a mistake and then was took over by John Wick and Chocolade. Chocolade actually collided with John Wick, which caused him to go down all the way to P14. So the house that was leading the race is now down at the bottom. John Wick is down to 5th, and now Eversnax is leading the race. We have saved the stream, but at what cost? I believe the best of this race is already behind us, but let's hope it's just a myth, because as of right now, Eversnax is leading the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix with Rocco right on behind of him. Lepson in 3rd, but look at the action in P4. Scrolly Voice having his teammate on the back of him, John Wick right behind him, and Gamap looking for an overtake on the Mercedes as the Alpine is getting faster on the hard compound tire, looking to pass John Wick, who started this race pretty nicely, but he's already losing another position. Here comes Gamab, here comes also Lepson, and Mercedes dropping like crazy. Lepson up into P3. Gamab, will he make it too? No, he won't. The scary moment for him on the curb. He's gonna try one more time. Round the outside he goes, and he does make a pass on the Mercedes. Can he make it on the Ferrari? Of course he's gonna try. Can he do it? Not quite yet. And oh, he's going off, and he's picking up Magnussen, he's picking up Aston Martin. Absolute carnage in Abu Dhabi as Gamab goes down to P9, and he picked up someone's wing. Whose was that? That was Keyboard Magnussen. He's missing the front plate. Ay, ay, ay. So the championship leader is down to P8 without a piece of his front wing, and his rival, Eversnax, is absolutely feeding off of it. Let's take a look at the tire situation, position situation. So basically, since the beginning of this race, as of right now, Eversnax has gained 4 positions. Rocco is where he started. Lepson gained 3 positions. Crowley has gained 6. Wick has dropped 4, but it's nothing compared to Gamab, who lost 7, and Chocolade, who lost 12 positions. That is absolutely awful for the Haas in question. And we do have some more fight in midfield as Gamab picks up another position from Prost and is now hunting damaged Magnussen, but he's struggling too. A lot of struggling in this race we have had so far. Again, the best action was in the beginning. We saw it. You guys unfortunately couldn't, but trust me when I say it, it was absolute carnage. We had spins. We had Horizon heading into the wall on the first corners. This is why he's now so far behind, as he was put into a wall and he had lost his entire front wing. So now the McLaren driver is all the way in the back as his teammate is leading the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. John Wick makes a pass on his teammate Crowley Voice to gain P4. That was Rocco, one of the runners for the win as of right now, is now sideways. What is going on in Abu Dhabi? And he's back to racing speed, but he's down all the way to P13, fighting to stay, not drop behind to P14. So Eversnacks is back into the lead. I haven't seen exactly what happened there between him and Eversnacks, but the McLaren driver, championship rival of Keyboard Magnussen, is in the safe lead, 1.5 seconds over John Wick, who is now not even able to catch up to the DRS. Chocolate picks up the fastest lap of the race so far on the hard compound, and now John Wick trying to get closer to Eversnacks, while he does have a huge tail of Lepson, Saiyan, Crowley Voice, Futuristic, and Gamap. Futuristic looking for a possible overtake on Crowley Voice up into P5, but the Williams is going to have to back it off for now and wait for his opportunity, with Keyboard Magnussen struggling heavily to even keep it in DRS range, and he does not keep it in DRS range. We have some battle in the midfield. Piggy is dropping places. 1 and 2 positions have now been dropped. Third as well. So Piggy must have something happened there for him. This Red Bull driver is down to P14 with his teammate heading into the points. Now Rocco trying to at least go back into the points, heading up into P11 ahead of Wizzowil. And he's now going to try to hunt down Vertier. So yeah, a lot has happened since the beginning of the Grand Prix, but we hope even more is going to go and unfold as we now finally are able to stream it for you guys, as Eversnacks is pulling away in the lead with over 2 seconds worth of gap, but the fight for P2 is going to be incredible. We have Wick, Lepson, Cyan, Crowley Voice, Gamap, Futuristic, and now Gamap overtaking Futuristic for P6. They're all going to fight for it. Ooh, Saiyan is in the wall. Front wing is left on the track. We're not going to have any kind of VSC or safety car. We keep on racing, but the Aston Martin is now finally back on the track, losing his front wing a heavy amount of positions. So that puts Keyboard Magnussen in 7th, Ocean Chief in 8th, Vertier in 9th, and Rocco back into points in P10. So we have this huge train spreading from P2. Yeah, we do have an overtaking up into P2. Lepson gets out of John Wick. We have this huge train from Lepson all the way down to Futuristic, and then Keyboard Magnussen leading Chief, Vertier, Rocco, and Wizzowil. So there are 2 separate trains all trying to catch up to Eversnacks, and another attempt from John Wick. He was looking for that move, but Lepson defended it so far, defending off John Wick, as the Mercedes driver is not giving anything there. We have a lot of overtakes, but there are going to be a lot of overtakes on the straights. The most important ones will be coming in after the round of pit stops, and at the end of the race, Peggy gets a free second time penalty while sitting in P13. And now Ocean Chief has finally got it done with Keyboard Magnussen. I believe Keyboard Magnussen will not be able to regain the position after losing it to the Ferrari. Gamap overtakes John Wick after the Mercedes driver is coming for a pit stop at lap 9. And you have to wonder, was that a planned pit stop? Because we also have Keyboard in the pits, but he did lost a front wing piece, so that's understandable from the Kick Sauber driver. And what about the Mercedes of John Wick, as he just made a pit stop fresh hard? So you have to wonder why is that, because we also have Saiyan in the pits. He also lost the front wing, so that's understandable. But what was the plan for the Mercedes there? I didn't see any damage. Yeah, I mean, I don't see them going 20 laps on those hards, but maybe, who knows, maybe he's some kind of tire whisperer. We'll see about this one later on. So, as now things have settled down at least a tiny, teeny bit, we still got Eversnacks far into the lead. Lepson trying to hold on to the position, but here comes Gamab using the DRS once again to switch with his opponent as the Ferrari goes down to P3. Crowley Voice is now ahead of Futuristic, who is in P5. Ocean Chief is now going to defend from Rocco, who's going to push on him in the Alpine, while also being hunted down by Vertier, and Wizzowil still holding on with Larson in the top 10. Peggy is just outside the points, followed by Chocolade, John Wick, Keyboard Magnussen, Prost, Saiyan, and Horizon. This is how things stay after a couple of drivers have made their first entrance to the pit stops. And I can see Gamab and Lepson working together nicely to gain some time to the leader of the race, and Crowley Voice also pinning. So Mercedes boys doing some early stop strategy. Perhaps this was not some kind of hasty decision. This could be some well-prepared strategy for the Silver Arrows, as Crowley Voice is now heading out of the pit lane area. And we now have Eversnacks only 1.2 ahead of Gamap and Lepson. So he's lost quite the lead because he had about 2 seconds worth of lead over his opposition. And now Gamab has made some kind of mistake. He was dropped heavily, and now Lepson's gonna make the use of it. Eversnacks also benefiting from that, pulling away from them. Futuristic holding on in P4 after he made a move ahead of Rocco. Sorry, it was a pit stop. Rocco was 5 seconds behind there, and he's leading Ocean Chief and Vertier. And Vertier, he was looking for a move on Ocean Chief, but that was too hasty from him. He's gonna have to back it off now. And Gamab and Lepson keep on swapping, so there's plenty of fight here in Abu Dhabi, and it's hard to catch everything with the eyes of the camera. So we're gonna do our absolute best. As of right now, we have this fight in the midfield and the fight for the top two. So it's Gamab, Lepson, Futuristic, and Rocco fighting in there. And ooh, Rocco, he just bumped into Ocean Chief, defending his position. He was really not trying to give it away. I'm not sure why, because he'd probably regain it after the DRS, but he does not want to let that Ferrari pass. And Eversnacks, yeah, Eversnacks is in the pits, so those early pit stops might be some kind of worth it. But I mean, it's definitely a popular strategy right now, but is this gonna be a worth one? I mean, I'm not sure. We're gonna find out at the end of the race. But yeah, the race leader is now into the pits, so Gamab is now again leading the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, followed by Lepson, Futuristic, Rocco, Ocean Chief right behind the Alpine. Now Vertier fighting Wizawil, and he does gets ahead of Haas, but Wizawil is not quite done yet. He's gonna try to regain the position from the Red Bull, as Larson is right behind him in P8. Wizawil gets the DRS off the Red Bull driver ahead of him, and he does make a move up into P6. He goes ahead of Vertier, as Gamab is still leading this GP so far. Oh, Larson had a lot of pressure on the brake, but he just managed to avoid heading into his opponents. We're still waiting for some pit stops from the boys in the top. As of right now, John Wick came out ahead of Eversnacks. This is worth to mention, but Eversnacks is right behind him, half a second behind the Mercedes driver. And it just should be a matter of time when these two are going to collide again. Crowley Voice is also there, so it's a Mercedes sandwich for the McLaren champion rival of John Wick, Eversnacks. So he's right now caught up in between the silver arrows. We'll see how this is going to go for him, as he's being pushed right now by a Crowley Voice trying to put the McLaren under pressure. And it's a yellow flag somewhere over there. And who caused that? Most likely an Aston Martin of Sayan or a McLaren of Horizon. That was Aston Martin. We have some pit stops coming in as well. We have Lepson, we have Ocean Chief, so both Ferraris. Rocco picks up a 3-second time penalty. This is going to be huge later on. Now we also have Futuristic in the pit lane. Who else coming in? We also had Piggy in the pit stops, so a couple of drivers making their pit stops right now. The Alpines are currently on a 1-2. It's not going to last a long time, at least until the pit stops, but let's say it out loud. The Alpines are on the 1-2. Gamab leading the race, Rocco in P2, followed by Wizawil in P3 and Haas, and then Vertier in P4, while behind them it's a fight between Larson and the Red Bull driver. But can they somehow scrap it? As of right now, they just have to wait for the best possible overtake opportunity. Chocolate has managed to come back into 6th, of course, after everyone made the pit stop. He still has to do one more after pitting early due to a mistake that costed him a lot of positions and precious time early on in the race after he scrambled against his opponent in the lead. And John Wick, Crowley Voice have already managed to deal with Eversnacks. The McLaren is now behind the two Mercedes drivers. Crowley Voice will surely not allow Eversnacks to pass him easily, so John Wick can somehow pull away and close the gap to Chocolate. He's on fresher rubber, so he should have no problem catching up to a Haas driver. We have overtake from Larson, who makes a move on the Red Bull driver Vertier, and they're both, Wizawil and Vertier coming to the pits. Futuristic gets a 3-second time penalty in the meantime. And here they go into the pit lane, both of them. Anybody else is going to come into the pit at the end of the lap? But right now, it doesn't seem like it. We have only Wizawil and Vertier in the pits by this lap. So it's still Alpine 1-2, Larson in P3. Keyboard Magnussen heads back into the points after everybody else has made their pit stop. Ocean Chief is up into P11. Of course, there are some penalties on the grid, but that's going to matter at the finish line. As of right now, we are still racing. It's lap 13. We're almost halfway through the race. The Alpines are still holding on to that 1-2, but it's not going to last forever. They will have to make a pit stop sooner or later. Eversnacks has just made a move up into P6, overtaking Crowley Voice, but Crowley Voice has managed to get his job done because Eversnacks is now dropping over almost 2 seconds towards John Wick, who is already on the back of Chocolate, and he's using the DRS of the Haas driver to get himself closer to a fight for podium, as John Wick is really catching up to the Haas, and now he has to pass him as soon as possible. It's important for him because Eversnacks in the McLaren is trying to close the gap. So the faster John Wick passes Chocolate, the better for him. And the longer he tries to fight him, the more time he wastes on the Haas, the better for Eversnacks. He's already closed the gap to 1-4, so John Wick has to make the move, but he doesn't make the turn clean, and he's gonna have to wait a bit longer. This is great news for Eversnacks, who is closing the gap towards John Wick. Yellow flags, and those were caused by the Alpine up front. It was caused by Gamab. The race leader has made a mistake. What is going on in this GP? Jesus, what is going on in this GP? And now the Alpines are in a difficult situation. Both of them on old rubber. Both of them will have to make a pit stop soon. One of them with a penalty, and the other one has just made a mistake. They're not going to fight too much because they don't have to. Rocco has a DRS. Rocco is now leading the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, with Gamab being right behind him in second. But Larson is closing the gap. Larson still also didn't make a pit stop. So after they're going to all come into the pit lane area, John Wick should be regaining as the race leader, unless Chocolate has something to say about that. Prost gets a free second time penalty, and Chocolate is throwing a challenge to Wick once again, getting past him, and those are great news for Eversnacks, who managed to caught up to them. And what happened to Crowley Voice? Because Crowley Voice is now down 2.5 seconds behind them, and I saw some kind of wings flying off. Oh my god. Ooh, that's gonna be a major letdown for him. He was in a comfortable situation, and now this is gonna put him in a very difficult spot. We saw what it can do on the example of Keyboard Magnussen. He was in the top, and now he's nowhere to be found. He's somewhere in the middle, right down at the bottom of the pointing position of P10, but this is nowhere near he was at the beginning of the race. So John Wick is now in a very difficult spot. Chocolate, that's great for him, but Eversnacks, he knows that he's behind two slower cars. He wants to make the move. Can he make it double? Can he make it single? We have some bumps, but it's not done yet. Prost has retired, but I believe it's not a crash. He just left the game as we keep on going, as Eversnacks is trying once again against John Wick. This time he does have a DRS, and he does make a pass on John Wick. Crowley Voice is there as well, and he makes a pass on Chocolate as well. Good move from the McLaren. Chocolate has dropped 2 positions against John Wick and Eversnacks. It's a great fight for P3, 4, 5, and 6. Crowley Voice is now dropped again towards Chocolate, who is now pushing on. We have some bumps, we have some collisions. What is going on? Chocolate just nuked himself on the inside. There was absolutely no way this is gonna work in any kind of shape. And Chocolate has lost his front wing plate while Gamab picks up a 3-second penalty. It's a pandemonium in Abu Dhabi. The Alpines on the 1-2, both on the penalties. Larson yet to make a pit stop. John Wick with the damage. Chocolate with the damage. Does Crowley Voice have intact front wing? I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to check it in a moment. And Eversnacks also. Peggy with another penalty. What is going on? Okay, let's slow it down. Let's see what kind of damage are on the Mercedes and the McLaren of Crowley and Eversnacks. Do we see any issues on the front wing? Crowley and Eversnacks, yeah, they do look fine as of right now, but there are major bumps in between them as well. They have to be careful, because any kind of little bit of damage can make your race much more difficult. Sayan gets a 3-second time penalty as well, and as of right now, it's a very entertaining fight that we got going for these positions. Here they come again. Wick, Crowley Voice, and Chocolate. Snacks. I'm not sure why is he not just sitting behind and watching this chaos. He should just enjoy the front seat instead of putting his nose in there, because look at this. They're gonna pick each other up. What are they doing? Absolute no remorse. Wick and Chocolate bumping wheels, trying to push each other out of the racing line. Here they go again. Chocolate back into P4. It's a wonderful sight for the eyes, but it must be a horror for these guys out there. What is going on? Down with 16 laps of the race. Keep it going, lads, until the finish line. This would have been lovely, as Chocolate is now defending 2 Mercedes and a McLaren once again. This is all amazing news for Larson, who will make a pit stop, and now Rocco heads into the pit lane, so it's one of the Alpines heading to the pit stop area to change the rubber. Gamab is still the race leader. Larson will be now P2. And here comes again Crowley Voice on Chocolate, but he's going to have to wait a bit more longer to gain his position. Futuristic is slowly but surely closing in on the lads ahead of him after all the fight has been going on, but he's on a penalty. But right behind him is Lepson, who is not with any kind of penalty, and he is closing the gap towards the guys ahead of him. So this will be a great news for Lepson when it comes to this fight. What a beautiful race we got going on so far. Chocolate again defending his P3 on this long straight, but does not have enough pace to do so as Holy Voice passes him. Here comes Eversnacks. He's not gonna risk it. Is he gonna risk it? No, he's gonna back it off slowly and surely. Wick still trying to squeeze himself there, but he's gonna let it go after he saw no space for any kind of car in there. And Eversnacks again trying to put under pressure. Chocolate trying to squeeze himself there. What on earth are you doing? What is the purpose? I mean, it looks beautiful, but it's absolutely not worth for them to go at it like this. It just makes your car more damaged. As Chocolate, well, he's still P3, but it's not gonna last forever. Gamap has crashed. Safety car in Abu Dhabi. I'm out of words. What is this race? We've lost the Alpine. One of them has had a penalty. Both of them had a penalty. And now one of them is gone. Larson, it's a perfect pit stop. Larson is going to be leading the race if no one else will decide to stay out on this safety car. This is brilliant news for the Williams driver. Is anybody going to stay out? This is important now. Wizard will into the pits. Verti into the pits. Rocco, he is going to stay out. And he's going to come out in front, but remember, he does have a penalty, and he will be on all the rubber. So technically, Rocco is leading the... Rocco is leading the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, but Larson is going to be right behind him, and it should be a matter of time before he gets ahead of him. It's actually just a one-lap difference on the tires, but it's a huge difference because of a penalty that the Alpine is now going to be suffering from. Finally, we can get some fresh air in this. It's lap 18, and it's been absolute carnage since the opener. I know we missed this one, sorry about that again, but it's still an absolute race to rewatch once you actually can. It's Rocco in the lead as of right now. Larson, who just had a blessing in disguise from this crash of the Alpine. He was about to pit and go down somewhere to P8, P7, but it's gonna count in P2 thanks to this safety car. Crowley Voice, then followed by Eversnacks, then Futuristic with the penalty as well. Lepson, Chocolate down to P7, Keyboard Magnussen still holding on in the P8 championship leader. Ocean Chief in 9th. John Wick down towards P10. And this is also a great news for every one of those guys who had some wing damage. So John Wick, Chocolate, Keyboard Magnussen, they all managed to fix their wings, and they'll be now fresh and ready to go. And I can see Sayin of Aston Martin, he is on fresh soft. Not sure those tires are going to last all the way through to the end, but that's an interesting thing to look out for. And we're now going to be entering lap 19, still under the safety car. And what a race this has been so far. Absolutely amazing. And it's just anyone guess who's going to win this race as of right now, because nobody was expecting Larson to fight for the win a couple of laps ago. Now he is the main favorite to win this GP if Rocco will not be able to pull away, and he shouldn't be able to pull away. It's Abu Dhabi. You have the slipstream, you have the straight speed. I mean, it's anyone's guess to pick a winner as of right now. Absolute scenes. Yeah, absolutely. And how many race leaders we had? Both Alpines were in the lead for some point. We had John Wick, we had Chocolate, we had Keyboard Magnussen, I believe, for a quick seconds in there. So, yeah, so many leaders in this Grand Prix. And we have still no idea which way is this gonna go. Absolute cinema that race is. And it's just the beginning of the season. Keep it going all the way through to the end. Tier 2 for life. As Rocco is still leading. We have some position swaps under the safety car. Piggy and Wizzo will go in at it. They're now back to their original places, but they have to be careful with this one. Now we have the whole bunch stacked up, ready to go. Is the safety car gonna keep going for one more lap, or is it gonna be in this lap? Because we are ready. They are ready. Is the FIA ready to restart the race? I know the FIA course, not here our lovely FIA guys, but the real life ones have been a bum for quite some time. But let's see if they can actually make it work in here. As Rocco will be restarting the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix on lap 20. Yes, we have confirmation safety car in this lap. The Alpine of Rocco, he's lost his teammate, but he does not lose faith. He can still at least pull off a podium here in Abu Dhabi. He will be restarting the race on fresh rubber with fresh hopes for keeping this win. But it's going to be a very difficult task. Larson will be right behind him. Crowley Voice in P3. Eversnox, Futuristic, Lapson, Chocolate, Magnussen, Chief, and John Wick. And that's just the top 10. Outside, right behind them are Peggy with Zoel, Vertier, Sayan, and Horizon. 15 drivers left out of 17 that has begun this race. And it's only about more than 19 laps to go in this Grand Prix. So here we go. Rocco slowly but surely approaching the point where he can decide when to restart. He does go full speed right ahead, doesn't want to make them guess, and he's off the line. Here we go. Abu Dhabi Grand Prix is back into being green as Crowley Voice was trying to find a way around Larson, but he does not make it through. Larson holding on. Chocolate makes a move up into P6 ahead of Lepson. Please ignore the fact we still have safety car icon in the left top corner. This is no SC. This is pure racing, as Rocco is actually doing a pretty decent job in pulling away from Larson. We kind of underestimated the Alpine, but he's doing a brilliant work. And here comes Crowley Voice. He's going to throw a challenge to Larson, surely. Larson already dropping position. Eversnax also threatening the Williams. Here comes the McLaren on the left side. Can he make a pass? Yes, he can. Can he make it double? No, he was thinking about it, but he backed it off right in a good time. And Rocco, can he actually leave Crowley Voice behind with no DRS? That would be huge for the fact he might have a chance of keeping good position on the finish line. Futuristic has just passed his teammate. No idea what this decision is about to be, because pretty sure they're not making a decision, because Futuristic does have a penalty. It's no point, no strategical benefit from the fact Futuristic is ahead of Larson, who is now defending from Chocolate. Chocolate with a good pass, and that Haas is definitely angry, definitely pissed off at what happened on the opening laps. He wants his lead back, and he's now gonna push on Futuristic. He's fast and furious. The Haas pushing hard on the Williams, gets on the right side. Rocco sets a new fastest lap. Crowley Voice is hunting him down. Piggy picks up his third penalty this race, but Chocolate will not make a move, while Keyboard Magnussen does make a move up into P6, and Chocolate pushing his opposition out the track, somehow gaining position. But this is not the cleanest race of the Haas driver, let me tell you that. Yeah, he's on that vengeance. I mean, the guy is absolutely ruthless. This is prime 2021 Max Verstappen, not letting anybody pass and pushing everybody who wants to race him. Absolute beautiful from Chocolate, who is now 1.5 seconds behind the three guys who are challenging for the race win as of right now. That's Rocco, Crowley Voice, and Eversnax and Chocolate. Oh, he's off the truck a bit. He made a slight error. This is going to cost him a bit, as Futuristic is now trying to hunt him down, but he does have company on his back. Here comes Keyboard Magnussen right alongside him on the right side. Oh, it's going to be a risky one for Magnussen. Can he make it pass? Not yet. Switches to the inside. Beautiful move. And the Kick Sauber is up into P5. What a race we got going on here in Abu Dhabi. And now Futuristic is going to have a whole lot of friends right behind him. Lepson, Wick, Larson, and Ocean Chief all lined up. And also Piggy and Wizzowell. It's absolute stack of people running behind him. And Chocolate, look at how easily he decreases the gap from about 1.6 down to less than seconds toward Eversnax. And he's still in the game. He sets the fastest lap. He's absolutely on a move. This guy is absolute cinema as of right now. Lap 22 is on, and Chocolate is on a mission. If he could still somehow win this race after he was, remember, knocked off the road in about lap 2 or 1, can't remember the exact lap, early on in the race, and he was down to P14. If he would be able to make a comeback drive all the way to the win, it would be incredible. In the meantime, Eversnax pushing hard on his opponents, gets a P2. Can he lead the race? Does go on the inside, collects the Alpine. Poor Rocco is out. Eversnax clipped his opposition, and he will be in the lead of the race, but at what cost? At the cost of Rocco's race. who is down to P8, but let's not count him out yet. We've seen better comebacks than this one so far. And here comes Chocolate. Of course, it's him, and he's pushing Williams. Oh my God, pushing McLaren. Yeah, oh my God, the whole field cannot believe what they're witnessing. Neither can we. Chocolate is making this into a battle royal. Will picks up a 3-second time penalty. John Wick picks up a 3-second time penalty. Nobody can keep the car in the track limit, sorry. Chocolate. And now who lost the front wing? I'm pretty sure it was Mercedes or McLaren. Who lost the bits? McLaren is intact. Yeah, Mercedes without the piece of front wing. Chocolate is still intact somehow. Keyboard Magnussen, who was also in the back of the race, is now going to race for podium. This is incredible. yeah. We didn't heard that. Yeah. I mean, it's not 10 p.m. So yeah, Chocolate is still pushing hard on Crowley voice and Eversnacks. And Eversnacks is going to try to keep this lead, but it's not a matter of can he survive in this lead? It's a matter of when is he gonna give up to Crowley and Chocolate. This is just a matter of time before these guys will tear each other apart. Look at what's going on behind them. It's John Wick, Rocco, and Futuristic again bumping against each other. It's an absolute karting race how much these guys are bumping into each other. Futuristic gets ahead of Rocco, looking for a pass on John Wick as well, switches to the inside aggressively, and he collected himself almost. He saved it brilliantly, but it's gonna cost him at least 3 positions. Risky move from the Williams, and it didn't pay off this time, as Chocolate is again gonna throw a challenge to Crowley voice. Please save some cars for the finish line. We want to see the action all the way to the end, as the Haas is on a vengeance mission down the inside, and he does go up until P2. Oh my, no, what happened there? Chocolate absolutely rammed Crowley voice out the track. Now the question is how much damage they've got, because surely they didn't avoid this one unscathed. John Wick overtook Crowley. Crowley's down to P6. He's struggling. Crowley doesn't have a front wing bits. Yellow flags again, and there's gonna be a 10-second time penalty for colliding with Futuristic for Larson. What is this race? Oh my God. Eversnacks has just got a breath of fresh air, unlike I did. He's now 1.5 seconds ahead of his opposition. Chocolate, he's gonna try to hunt him down, but it's not gonna be an easy task with Keyboard Magnussen on his back. And then right behind the green Kick Sauber, it's Lepson, it's Wick, it's Ocean Chief 1.4 behind them. So it's not gonna be an easy task for Chocolate to hold on. John Wick makes a pass on Lepson to head up into P4, and it's now targeting Keyboard Magnussen, going round the outside, bumping into Kick Sauber. Standard Abu Dhabi stuff as of right now. Larson drops to P13. Futuristic in the meantime also dropped to P14, so both Williams are down to the very bottom. What a crazy race we've got going on. Eversnacks is pulled away for over 2 seconds from Chocolate. If he doesn't make a crucial error, this could be a win for McLaren. That is, if you overlook the fact he has a penalty, but he does have a penalty. So Chocolate is still in the fight for the win. He doesn't have to pass McLaren. He has to finish less than 3 seconds behind the orange car of Papaya colors, as Chocolate is still trying to go as fast as possible with Keyboard Magnussen pushing right behind him. Lepson making another move on John Wick. So it's actually very good for Eversnacks if Keyboard Magnussen can bump wheels with Chocolate, but it doesn't seem like it so far. Magnussen under pressure again. Wizard makes an overtake in the meantime in the midfield ahead of Crowley voice. He goes up into P7, and Horizon overtakes Cyan for P11. As we have Eversnacks over 2.5 second worth of gap about to be over Chocolate. Keyboard Magnussen trying to stay in P3, but here comes Lepson of Ferrari, and Scuderia driver does go on the inside, and he does go up into P3. Can he hold on to it? He pushes Keyboard wide, but it's still fair and square. Trying to hold on is Keyboard Magnussen. He had to give it up at this point, but it's a brilliant fight all over the track from everybody in this race tonight. As Eversnacks is trying to stay in the lead, trying to extend the gap. Cyan gets another penalty. Chocolate hunting him down in P2. Lepson sitting in P3. Yellow flags in the back. Those were Horizon, as McLaren is down to P12 once again. And it's 2.7. Yeah, absolutely. He's 2.8 clear ahead of Eversnack. Saiyan has retired, but it's in the pit lane, so it's not going to cause any kind of SC. It's already 2.8 for Eversnack's worth of gap. Now all he has to do is just keep it straight and pray to God that Lepson will throw a challenge to Chocolate. He doesn't have to pray. Here comes Lepson, the Ferrari driver, looking for a fight with the Haas. He does find a fight and he wins it. Goes up into P2 and is now clean off the Haas as Piggy makes an overtake on Crowley Voice. And we have a beautiful fight for P2, because this fight for P2 might as well be a fight for the win, depending on how well Eversnax is gonna drive. He's so far so good, clean. Oh my god, Chocolate, where is he finding that? How is he coming up with those ideas for these maneuvers? And out of this world. Some of them work better, some of them work less, but in the end he's still fighting for the win. But Eversnax is now gaining heavily, benefiting of the fact that Lepson has to defend from Chocolate instead of chasing after Eversnax. They could team up, they could just switch DRS on the main straights and hunt Eversnax to fight for the win against each other, but that's not the point. You don't fight for the best position, you fight the guy ahead of you and behind you. That's how Formula 1 works. And now Eversnax must have done something wrong, because he's now just dropped 2.6. Unless it's just the difference of a corner, as Lepson is now heading to the corner. Still 2.5, so there must have been something happened to McLaren, because he was about 3 seconds clean ahead of Lepson. He's now only 2.4. Yes, absolutely. So that's gonna put him under a real amount of pressure. It's already lap 27. Don't know when that has gone. Crowley Voice is up into P8 ahead of Peggy, and it's now gonna be all the way to the finish line for the win and for the podium. Eversnax trying to build the gap. Lepson trying to close it. Chocolate still in the position for a possible even a win. Keyboard Magnussen, we can't count him out as well. Sitting right behind the two drivers fighting for the win and the podium. John Wick right behind him with the penalty applied. Ocean Chief right as well. Chocolate gets another overtake done on Lepson, but this is again only benefiting Eversnax, because he's gaining from the fact that these guys are fighting. He's now extending his gap to over 3 seconds, which will mean that if they cross the line right now, Eversnax is gonna win this. Yeah, it's true, but I don't see the reason why is he putting so much effort to fighting for this position. He could have just work together with Lepson. Of course, this wouldn't have to be the best way around, but as of right now, he's killing his chances for a win, unless he just wants to safely deliver a podium. But that's also not the case, because the way he's fighting, risking him to be even not able to complete the race. So it's a head-scratcher what is going on, as Eversnax is loving it. He's already 3.8 clean ahead, 2 laps to go. If he doesn't make a crucial error like an Alpine did on the lead, he's gonna win this GP. Chocolate will now have to defend from Lepson and from Keyboard Magnussen to hold on to the podium, as here comes the boy in red and green. Lepson to the left, Keyboard right alongside him, 3 men wide. Keyboard Magnussen on the inside gets the job done, and so does Lepson. Chocolate, he wanted the win. Oh, he bumped into Keyboard. No! This is Need for Speed moment. What is this? I have never seen something like that in an F1 video game. Fun fact, I saw it live in Imola, I believe, when Max jumped into Lewis, but this is... how? Okay, so... yeah, Chocolate has killed his and Keyboard's chances for not only win, but even a podium. Keyboard is done. He picks up a penalty. He's devastated. Eversnax is celebrating. He's got the champagne going with 1 lap to go and the penalty on his head. He's still gonna win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix unless Lepson can decrease the gap of 0.8 on 1 lap. I don't think it's possible for the Ferrari. He does have 20% more battery, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. John Wick is currently P3. However, he does have a penalty. Behind him is Ocean Chief. He does not have a penalty. This means if it stays like this is how they cross the finish line. Ocean Chief will be on the podium, and it's gonna be a double podium for the Scuderia Ferrari, unless something crazy will happen. Let's just wait for the final finish line, because anything can go in this GP until the end. Eversnax rounding up the second sector, still clean in the lead. Lapson slowing down John Wick just a bit to help out his teammate Ocean Chief. He knows not really gonna catch Eversnacks in the final moments. He has to help his teammate out. Chocolate, he's technically still in the fight for the podium, but he would have to overtake Ocean Chief. John Wick putting a fight to Ferraris. Lepson doesn't really have to fight him. He knows he will still get the podium if he finish behind John Wick because of his penalty. We have some overtakes in the midfield as well, but we have to know who's gonna win and how the podium is gonna look like, as Eversnacks is about to go for the final time in these corners. And after all the carnage, all the blows, all those moments, it's Eversnaxolotl who wins in Abu Dhabi, and he's gonna decrease the gap to the championship leader heavily, if not become the new leader. John Wick finishes second, but he's gonna be demoted through the penalties, and Lepson and Ocean Chief close up the podium for Ferrari. Chocolate finishes P4, dropping Wick to 5th. Crowley Voice in P6, Vertier goes up to P7 after Piggy penalty, Wizza will P8, Keyboard only P9, Piggy closing up the points in P10, Futuristic in 11th, Horizon in 12th, and Larson in 13th. Race of the season, clearly. Wow, what the hell was that about? Oh my goodness, let me take a break. Jesus Christ, I mean, this was everything. If we would have got qualifying and the first 3 laps on stream, this would have been a highlight of a century. We can still make some short clips from it. I'm sure there will be a lot of those because you have so much material from this race only. It's insane. You had so many moments. We had so many stories to tell. And now the worst part is, how on earth do we pick one driver to be called the driver of the day? How are we gonna do that? After everything, we had so many position swaps. Ocean Chief gained 10 positions and finished on the podium. Eversnacks cheated destiny and somehow won this bloody thing. Chocolate was definitely the highlight reel of the race. I'm not sure if it's a positive way, but he definitely was all over the screen at some point. The game says Crowley Voice, but we're gonna take that into consideration as we make the verdict. No, probably not. Yeah, that was it. So yeah, the biggest winner, of course, Eversnacks. He's gonna gain how many? 25 points for the championship, I believe, from the win. And Keyboard Magnussen with his P9. How many points is that gonna be? It's gonna be 2 points, right? So yeah, we have a new championship leader, as Eversnacks will get ahead of Keyboard Magnussen leaving Abu Dhabi. He will be a new leader of Tier 2 championship battle. And I believe with him finishing first and Kick Sauber's Keyboard Magnussen finishing in 9th, this could also heavily impact the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari have also picked up major points as Lapson finished second and Ocean Chief in third. So there's going to be a lot of shifts in those tables, and we already have a line of people waiting for the interview. I mean, we could just sit until tomorrow with those interviews looking at the amount of action. Of course, we can't do that, so we're going to try to wrap it up. So let's just head right into the section and start bringing in people. And we have waiting for us our Futuristic, Lapson, and Ocean Chief. How about we begin with a Futuristic, and then we'll move on to the boys in red. So let's bring him in right about now. Hello.
Hello.
So, you basically survived a war because that was an absolute war battlefield. How do you feel about that? What the hell was this race, and how do you feel about it from your perspective?
That some drivers really missing a word in the dictionary because after safety car restart was pure mayhem from 3 drivers that I'm not gonna name out on stream here. That like
Ooh.
really or at least I knew a few guys that are really pissed at. So
Russell Max vibes. I like it. I like it.
yeah, it's basically that.
Jesus. Oh my god. I mean, I can't even count the amount of times you were in the midfield, in the top, in the back, and all just kept spinning like a washing machine. Like, this gotta be exhausting. I mean, at some point, you didn't even know if you're racing for the podium, for the points, for the win, or just for your honor. Like, how does that feel? Because you don't even know what you're racing for at some point.
Well, for me, I barely know what I'm racing for anyways when I joined up the grid because well today I actually felt I had the pace because me and Lepson after we pitted we were catching Crawley, John, Chocolade and the guys ahead for a potential fight for a podium and even a win. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's so much thinking you have to do at the same time while you're trying to hit the apexes of
Mhm.
every corner and breaking points, etc. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
just exhausting.
it looked like you had it in your palm when the safety car popped out, and then it all went to hell. I mean, how close was that? Because when the safety car popped out, we were like, okay, Williams are maybe gonna do it, and then it turned out no, they didn't. What happened there?
Honestly, I would have liked it to stay green. I think that would have hurt me
Okay.
less with the 3 second penalty. And yeah, but Larson, I think he says thank you because he got uh, shoved up the field. I think to P2 because I believe he started on the hard. So for him it was good, but for some strange reason he didn't have the straight line speed. So
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that was quite the demanding race, let's at least say that. And next one after this one is gonna be a UK Silverstone. How do you feel about Great Britain's track? Are you a fan? Are you a hater?
I like the flow of it, but unfortunately, it doesn't have this really big heavy braking zone that you can take someone with you and make them have a long trip around the outside, etc. So it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna get
Oh,
into rhythm and don't whatever you do, don't lose the DRS.
mhm. Absolutely. All right. Thank you for participating in this absolute battle royale, and hopefully next week it's just gonna be a bit more peaceful for you. So yeah, have a bit of rest, buddy, and get ready for next time as we'll go racing again next week. Thank you.
Yeah, will do. Thank you.
All right, now let's get the boys in red in here because we also have a race winner waiting for us, but he's gonna have to wait a bit because Ferrari boys were here before him. So let's bring both of them at the same time.
I don't know.
Hello, the boys in red. How you doing after this? Quite the workout, huh?
How you doing? Grazie tutti.
Ja, grazie ragazzi, Forza Ferrari.
I mean,
Yeah, what you want to know, bro?
how is it to survive War Trench? I mean, it was a battle royal. How do you finish the race and so high up? Like, you had to have so many mixed emotions at so many different times in the race. What were your like highlights, like best moments, your worst moments, where you were like, "Oh shit, this is not gonna work out," and you were like, "Oh, we're actually on double podium. Let's go!" Like, how does it feel to go through such a race from your perspective?
Me or Steve, Chief?
Both
Like,
of you, whatever you want.
I mean, I was so sweating, and I was the last sector of the race, the last lap. I was seeing on the timing tower SLR Ocean Chief P5. I think, what? Is he also here? That's really nice, you know? I didn't, I didn't have any clue he was that close to us at the front, but yeah, he's Mr. Consistency, you know, so he's always there. He did it again, so I'm proud on the Chief. And yeah, my race was, I don't know, bit unlucky, bit chocolade, but yeah, he's kicked on the serve now,
It
so
was
yeah,
very
I don't
chocolate.
know. I don't know about that guy, bro.
How does it feel to race with the devil?
I mean, yeah, it's not racing, you know, like it's really like, it's like, yeah, I don't know, bro. Yeah, exactly. Like I was, please send, no, don't send it, don't send it, don't send, and yeah, you know, of course, there he is, and yeah, and after, yeah, of course, and out that chicane, you know, after 5-6, like full traction control, hey, on wheels, going, you know, like yeah, but yeah, he's gone now, so yeah, may he rest in peace. But I said enough. I want to see. I want to hear something about our driver of the day. Uh, oh no, I don't know.
Wow. Uh, I don't know. I went into this one just expecting maybe P10 if I'm lucky, because I was looking at the lineup and we had some reserves today who are very, very fast, but I think maybe had some issues in the race. I know Rocco is incredibly fast, um, but I didn't know what was going on in the race. I was just trying to survive. It was drive to survive, and it got very hairy at several points in that race. But yeah, it just all came together at the end, and yeah, P3 I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you think very well.
Yeah, so the old guys use their experience a bit to keep it on the black, you know. So yeah, keeping it on the black was enough today, guys. How did the stream went? Was it good? Or did you have fun? Yeah, was it
The
fun?
beginning was rough technical wise. You can
Mm-hmm.
skip the qualifying in the first 3 laps because we didn't got that. But yeah, after that, absolute cinema. I highly recommend rewatching the stream. It's probably
I
like
will.
cut in 3 different parts, but still recommend. Highly recommend rewatching this one.
I'm, I'm, I'm. I
Yeah,
mean, guys, like
Christian
it was
came
the
up with a
first
new
time.
camera. It's so cool. Like you can just play the stream and it's actually slow motion real time. You know, it's great.
Ooh, okay, now I'm really interested. But okay.
Okay, so thank you
Yeah.
guys. Hopefully
Thank
see
you
you next
guys,
time
my
in
heroes, my
UK.
commentary heroes. So
But yeah,
yeah,
we'll
next
see you
week
next time.
my
See you
home race,
episode.
in England. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yes, the land of tea.
Land of the tea and the home of the brave, huh? So yeah, we will see.
Well, I was the
Thanks a
race
lot.
for you. Was the race good from your guys' point of view?
It was brilliant, especially from Chocolate's POV. You were just feeling. I mean, I've never seen a guy launch himself in an F1 game and pick up the other one. Have you? I mean, how? Didn't even thought it was possible. But guy has basically done Verstappen from what was it, Monza, Imola, I think it was 2021. Like he jumped on the other guy.
Yeah. I'm still in the call. Okay, don't shit talk Verstappen. Okay.
Yeah, amazing. All right,
Nice.
thank you for your time, guys. We'll take you
Thank
next
you
week.
guys a lot, and leave me a driver of the day, please, in the comment booth if you want.
We'll think about it. Okay, thank you. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
guys. Bye 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 bye
Bye
bye
bye
bye
bye
bye
bye
bye
bye
bye
bye bye
All
bye.
right,
bye bye.
and we also have the Le Champion ever Snacksel. Hello.
Hi guys.
You should probably get like 2 different medals. One for finishing the race at all, and the second one for winning. Because what the hell? I mean, how do you even feel in a race where you were once first, once second, once you were in the midfield, then you were safety car, then you're back into the top, then you have a penalty, then you try to pull away from the guy who has a penalty. The guy behind you keeps ramming into you. What the? How's the
Oh,
race basically?
yeah. It was an absolute roller coaster. I was very happy at the start with myself. I was like, okay, clean start, just getting that pace out there. I was super happy to lead a race on merit. I think I haven't led a race in, I don't know, maybe a year. So I'm really happy to be up there again, to be able to show my pace. And then yeah, in the middle of the race, I actually got undercut. I was super surprised. I think the team told me to pit lap 13. I went into the pits, I believe. I was planning to go lap 11. Then I went into the pits lap 10 because I had to cover Crawley Voice. And somehow John Wick still jumped me. Then just a lot of fighting there in the midfield. It was super fun. It's always fun to have these races where you actually have to fight for the position. Yeah, some dirty driving from some specific people, but I've been told FIA is already on top of that, so I'm not going to complain too much about that. I can actually report something
Please
if
don't ban Chocolate. He's giving us more content than the whole grid for the whole 16 seasons, please.
well, for you it's content, for me it's points I'm losing. I don't like that.
Sounds the same to me.
Yeah, but then that penalty at the end, I was just going into damage control. I was like, okay, I just have to get the gap as big as I possibly can. I need to stay in front of as many people as I can. Like I think Ocean Chief and I believe it was John Wick
Yeah,
at first.
because
I think they were like P4,
yeah,
P5, and I was like, I have to stay on that podium.
you were escaping from Lepson, and I'm pretty sure if Lepson and Chocolate would have like worked together, like switching DRS, they would have get rid of the gap. But Chocolate decided, no, I'm not gonna finish behind the guy, and he just kept pushing Lepson off the track
Yeah.
in order to at least keep the position. I was like, what is he doing? He's just giving Eversnacks the win, and I see the
Yeah.
gap growing and growing. I was like, what is the plan behind this one?
I have to agree with that. I do think that Chocolade actually had more pace than Lepson. So I think if he had gotten past and managed to drive off,
Yeah.
then he could have had me. So I've
Yeah.
already thanked Lepson for fighting him for position. I've already
Mhm.
thanked those guys because yeah, I don't think I would have won it if they had worked together. But you know, it's racing. Everybody races for themselves. And I'm just super happy with that. I'm super happy to be able to finally show that pace that I have.
Yeah, and I'm
And
pretty sure he also went in with like a broken wing for the final couple of laps, and he was still racing with enough pace to threaten the win, which is crazy looking at the
yeah,
way he was driving.
I saw that actually. Yeah, I saw him touch with John Wick in that
Oh, he
long
touched with
left-hander.
multiple people in this race. So.
Yeah, but I saw his wing plate fall off. So that
Yeah.
was it was in the same place that he crashed with me as well. I think he was even going to report me for it, but he definitely just drove into me. We were three wide, and he just drove into the side of me. But yeah, it was that long left-hander after a second sector, and he just kind of hit John Wick and lost his front wing
Mhm.
end plate there. So
Yeah.
I was very happy to see that. I'm I'm gonna be real with you. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
in the
And
end, I'm just
mhm.
happy to be driving out in front again.
Yep, and I'm
Super
pretty
glad about
sure
that.
you're gonna be now a championship leader in Tier 2 after winning today's race, as Keyboard Magnussen only managed to finish P9 after all his shenanigans, and you've managed to win the race, so I'm pretty sure you're gonna be a new leader of Tier 2 championship. How do you see your chances of keeping it that way all the way to the end?
Yeah, you know, I'm actually feeling kind of sorry for Keyboard Mac there because he also had pace. I think he's
Mhm.
pretty good on these street tracks. I think
Yeah.
he could have been up there today as well. But yeah, very glad to be out in front now. It's always nice to have that. You need to know to have a little bit of a gap out in front, so I don't have to quite push as much. I don't have to take as many risks. But I'm going to be pushing the next few races. I'm going to be trying to collect as many points as I can, and if I can stay out in front or even just in the top three, I'll be happy. But you know, I'll be going for the championship now. I have to.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
hmm What happened?
Yeah. 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 I actually saw that. I was checking the gap all the time. I was just having an eye on it. And I saw that it was getting really close. And at some point, I think the realization set in I might actually win this race. So I just forgot about everything. I just pushed everything aside and just focused on my driving. I'm pretty good at getting into the zone if I just don't think about anything. If I just drive my laps, just fighting against my own delta, pretty much. And yeah, that's what I did. And I would argue, I know I'm patting myself on the back here. Those last few laps were absolute masterclass for me. I was so happy with them. I was just staying in that zone, just driving my laps calmly. And I think that's what I personally need to do whenever I want to drive fast. I just need to push all thoughts aside and just drive.
My guy really just did Kimi Raikkonen. He was like, I'm gonna win the race. Fucking enters the master zone, and he's like, became the best driver in the world for just 5 laps and won the race. Bam, see you later.
Christian, I literally told my teammate in VC, okay, I'm gonna need radio silence.
All right, so congratulations on the win and leading the championship. Good luck next week in UK Silverstone, as this is where the Tier 2 is gonna head. And yeah, just have some fun night tonight. You deserved it.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks.
Okay, we also have John Wick in an interview section, but is currently streaming. I'm not sure he wants an interview with us because he was here since just recently and he's now streaming. So I'm not gonna bring him out of the question. Yeah, if he's gonna want to say anything else, he's gonna have a chance next time. But yeah, absolute scenes as we have to wrap it up as of right now. Yeah, great race. Definitely could make some highlights out of this one, but yeah, it's a shame that the stream is gonna be cut into parts. But you know, every single good movie is at least a trilogy or even a series. They never come in a single package and not even just one sequel. So if you want the full experience, you're gonna have to get through all of them, and then you're gonna get the absolute race of a century here in SLR. So yeah, it's a great thing we managed to get the stream back online and show it, because if we would have missed the whole race, we would have never forgave ourselves. I was joking in the first lap, like, oh, we're just gonna miss the stream of race of the season of the year, and we could have, but thankfully we managed to put it back online. So good thanks to Christian for fighting all the way to the end and bringing the stream back to make it green. And yeah, thanks for tonight, brother. And we'll see you guys next time in SLR, as I believe we also have one more race to go in Abu Dhabi, don't we? Because we have now what? Tier 2, F1 and F2, right? And when does the Tier 1 race? That's the question. They're racing at. No, they were racing yesterday. Okay, so Tier 1 is done. And F2. Ah, okay. So this is it when it comes to Abu Dhabi, and next week tune in for Silverstone, as this is it from us tonight. My name was CM Punk. Thank you. Bye.